Hello everyone and welcome back to STW Sports, and today I'm going to be going over the biggest shock result of every Premier League season since 2004-2005. Of course, every season you just have that one result that just kind of blows your mind when a team down near the bottom beats a team near the top. And today I'm going to be going over every single shock result like that I believe has been the biggest since 2004-2005. I'm going to crack straight on with it. 04-05, Norwich City 2, Manchester United 0. Yeah, admittedly in this game, Sir Alex Ferguson did rest players and this came back to bite Man United, but this was a Norwich City team who went on to get relegated and a Man United team that still featured the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and other players as well, of course. I mean, they were missing some big players because Sir Alex Ferguson was resting players for the FA Cup, which sounds quite bizarre, but I mean, there was very slim chance of them catching Chelsea in the title race, but yeah, Norwich City took advantage of this, and a Dean Ashton header and a Leon McKenzie second goal sealed the points for Norwich. Norwich City still went down, so this did pretty little for them in the long run, but still, at the time, it was very much a shock result, and the result that probably caused Man United to finish third instead of second behind Arsenal. But yeah, overall, though, this definitely was a shock. I could have gone for Man City 1, Chelsea 0. That was Chelsea's only loss of this season. Because, yeah, once upon a time, Man City beating Chelsea was a shock result, believe it or not. And, yeah, but this, I'm going to say, though, that Norwich City beat Man United 2-0. The fact Norwich got relegated, and Man United's had Sir Alex Ferguson in charge, and a very good team. It causes this to be the biggest upset of the 2004-05 season. 2005-2006, Middlesbrough 3, Chelsea 0. February 11th, 2006. Yeah, this one is bizarre on so many levels. I mean, Chelsea under Jose Mourinho would hardly lose a game, never mind lose 3-0 to a team in a relegation battle. I still can't to this day get over this result, and it's 14 years later. So, you know, Chelsea travelled to Middlesbrough. They just beat Liverpool 2-0 the previous week at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are cruising, 15 points clear, I believe it is. And yeah, you know, at the top of the table. And Middlesbrough 17th and fighting for their lives. And Middlesbrough win 3-0. I mean, 3-0 as well. Goals from Fabio Rockenbach, Stuart Downing and Yakubu, sealing the points for Middlesbrough in what was a miserable February afternoon for Chelsea. Yeah, on Teesside, what a weird result this one was. But yeah, Middlesbrough did stay up and reach the UEFA Cup final, and Chelsea won the Premier League. So yeah, not really much change, but still, this was one of them bizarre results that you just get during a season that just completely blows your mind. 2006-2007. West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0. December 17th, 2006. Yeah, this game was another weird one, really. Man United in the 2006-07 season found themselves, I think it was around 5 points clear of Chelsea at the top of the table, and West Ham were in the relegation zone in 18th. To be fair, this was Alan Kirbishley's first match in charge of West Ham, which kind of helps the fact that, you know, the new manager thing coming into it and the buzz of a new manager. But yeah, a Nigel Reo-Coker winner sealed the points for West Ham. West Ham also beat Manchester United away from home on the final day of the season to stay up in the Premier League. But that game was more, you know, that Man United were already crowned Premier League champion. So for me, this one is more shocking. One of them games that, yeah, West Ham just turned up, played really well and won. And yeah, they just already deserved the win as well. But the fact Man United went on to win the league and West Ham only just stayed up proves to me that, yeah, this was very much a shock result and the biggest of the 06-07 season. 2007-2008, Bolton Wanderers 1, Manchester United 0. November 24th, 2007. Yeah, shock result again, Bolton Wanderers. Bolton Wanderers who were actually, at the time sitting in the relegation zone. And, you know, this on just 8 points as well, so this very much was a shock. A Nicolas Anelka goal that sealed the points of Bolton. This was the game that pretty much proved that Gerard Piqué was not cut out for Man United at this point. Yeah, Piqué just had a nightmare in this game. Anelka really gave him a tough time. And yeah, Bolton Wanderers won the match 1-0, and this was a year that Man United were joint top of the table at this point, and they went on to win the Premier League and the Champions League. So yeah, as you can imagine, this was a very famous win for Bolton. In fact, this was Bolton's only win over Man United in the Premier League era at the Reebok. So yeah, very much a famous win. And one of them results that, again, just kind of blow your mind in a way. Bolton Wanderers won, and Bolton Wanderers stayed up in the end as well. So it was happy days all round for them. 2008-2009, Arsenal 1, Hull City 2. September 27th, 2008. Yeah, this result to this day still baffles me, of course, being an Arsenal fan. Still hurts me being an Arsenal fan, to be honest with you. Hull City started the 08-09 season well. It was their first one in the Premier League. And to be fair to Hull, they were doing well, but never did I expect them to go to the Emirates and win. I mean, maybe get a draw if they were lucky, but to win the match 2-1 was quite shocking, really. Arsenal took the lead thanks to a Paul McShane goal. And then Giovanni scores one of the greatest goals you're going to see, a brilliant long-range shot. And the winner was scored by Danny Kuzan, a header from Danny Kuzan. Goal, 2 quick-fire goals from Hull, and they win at the Emirates. Arsenal's first loss at the Emirates in 25 matches in the Premier League. A run that stretched back all the way till April 2007. In fact, this was Arsenal's, I think it was their second loss of the Premier League era at the Emirates, which is just quite shocking, really. But yeah, nevertheless, brilliant result for Hull this one. And yeah, it really was a shock at the time. Arsenal finished 4th in the Premier League while Hull stayed up. So again, it wasn't like, the result didn't really do too much in the long run, but a massive win for Hull. One their fans will never forget. And yeah, and Arsenal, though, a day to forget for them overall. Arsenal went to the game top, by the way, just to add. I forgot to mention that, which just makes it even more surprising. 2009-10, Wigan Athletic 3, Chelsea 1, September 26th, 2009. Oh, this result really was shocking. This match was a 3 o'clock kickoff, and I remember listening to this thinking that there's something's got to be wrong here. Wigan Athletic never got anything against the big teams. They didn't even have a point against Chelsea at this point, and Wigan had been in the Premier League 4 seasons, hadn't even gained a point against Chelsea, and they're beating them, handing Carlo Ancelotti his first defeat in charge of Chelsea. And yeah, Petr Cech did get sent off, which kind of helps, but still, Wigan never beat the big teams, and this really was a collector's item. So Titus Bramble scored the opening goal. That's shocking enough. Hugo Rodallega then scored a penalty just after Petr Cech got sent off, and the game was sealed in the 90th minute by Paul Scharner. This game was just one of them, just bizarre. Chelsea won all 5 games at the start of the Premier League season. They were flying high. They looked unstoppable under Carlo Ancelotti. They travelled to Wigan, and Wigan just turned up and won. That's the only way to describe it. Wigan really turned up, bought their A game, and gained a victory. And Wigan Athletic at the time were in 16th place. Yeah, one of them results just blows your mind. And yep, that is exactly what happened. Chelsea still went on to win the league, though, beating Wigan 8-0 on the final day of the season. So they more than got their revenge in the end. 2010-11, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Manchester United 1, February 5th, 2011. Yeah, again, a result that blows your mind. Wolverhampton Wanderers, bottom of the Premier League table at the time. And, so bottom of the Premier League table. Man United were unbeaten in 29 Premier League matches. 29. Facing bottom of the table. Nani nets an opening goal for United. Easy. Gonna cruise it. No, that doesn't happen. George Elokobi, Kevin Doyle goals. Wolves pick up a vital 2-1 win in their quest to survive. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant result for Wolves. They stayed up in the end as well, and this result played a massive part in that. As for Man United, though, yeah, this was a bad day. They still won the Premier League quite comfortably, though. So, yeah, nothing really mattered in the end. But still, one of them results you get in a season that blows your mind. Another one here. Wolves, bottom of the league. Man United unbeaten till this point of the season. And Wolves win. Football for you. 2011-12, Wigan Athletic 1, Manchester United 0. April 11th, 2012. Yep, as I was mentioning, Wigan never beat the big teams. Wigan had been a Premier League team at this season for about 5-6 seasons, and they never got a point against Man United. Never. In fact, they'd lost to them 3 and 4-0 countless amount of times. But no, when Wigan Athletic need to stay up, they somehow turned into Barcelona for a few games. And that was no different here. And just want to say as well, if this moment doesn't happen, the Sergio Aguero moment doesn't happen, so football fans, be thankful Sean Maloney did score the winner and Wigan Athletic won 1-0. Because, yeah, it played a massive part in the Aguero moment happening, because Man United were 8 points clear going into this game, flying high, but Wigan Athletic had other ideas in this game. They needed the points as well. Wigan Athletic were sitting down there, and they won 1-0 in a massive result, which eventually kept Wigan up, and Man United lost the title to Man City. So not only was this a shock result, but it really had big implications for the rest of the season as well. And it's a game that no one expected Wigan to get something from. Absolutely no one. But yeah, when Wigan need to win and they needed to survive, they usually turned into Barcelona for about 10 games. And that's exactly what happened here as well, as already mentioned. 2012-13, Chelsea 0, QPR 1. January 2nd, 2013. Yeah, Chelsea didn't win the league in 12-13. This Rafa Benitez was the manager at this point, but Chelsea were a good team. They won the Europa League. They were the current European champions. They'd just beaten Aston Villa a week before 8-0. And QPR, who couldn't win a game to basically save their lives in the 12-13 season, had won one game all season. And they travelled to Chelsea and they won 1-0 thanks to a Sean Wright-Phillips goal, a former Chelsea player, just to top it off. Yeah, one of them baffling games where Chelsea fans wanted a reason to have a go at Rafa Benitez, and they had every right to. Chelsea were terrible in this match, and QPR getting a win. QPR finished rock bottom of the table, as they were at this point as well. QPR were pretty much an embarrassment in this season, and to go and beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge was such a shock. Chelsea ended up finishing third as well, but yeah, this was one of them games where it was an off day, but it was a big off day for Chelsea. To lose with this QPR team, it had to have been. Yeah, this was no doubt a shocking result, and for it to be away from home as well for QPR. Mad stuff. 2013-14, Cardiff City 3, Manchester City 2, August 25th, 2013. Yeah, the best time to play a team is usually early on in the season, where at your home stadium. Cardiff City took advantage of that against Manchester City in August 2013. Yeah, Cardiff City won the match 3-2. Joe Hart had a bit of a horror show in this game, back when Joe Hart was a pretty good goalkeeper as well. And yeah, this was one of them results that Man City won on the opening day 4-0 against Newcastle. Everyone thought Man City, it was their season to walk the league. I mean, they did win the league eventually, but, I mean, they had a lot of help along the way. And this match result against Cardiff pretty much proved that Man City team was certainly vulnerable, losing the match 3-2 thanks to goals from Aaron Gunnarsson and 2 from Fraser Campbell. One of them weird results where Cardiff City had the home crowd behind them, and they just got the victory because of that, really. A lot of team spirit shown. And yeah, that's why Cardiff City got the victory, but it certainly was a shot. No one said Cardiff City would win this game, but at the same time, though, if you want to play a team at the right time, the start of the season is the time, and their first home game as well. Cardiff City's first ever Premier League win. 2014-15, Burnley 1, Manchester City 0, March 14th, 2015. Yeah, this Man City, again, they weren't the champions in the 14-15 season, Chelsea were, but I'm going to say this one because Burnley got relegated in the 14-15 season, and Man City still had a very good team. But yeah, Burnley, thanks to a goal from George Boyd, picked up an important victory over them. And yeah, it was a volley from George Boyd in the second half. One of them weird games where Burnley just turned up, showed a lot of team spirit as usual. Sean Dyche was the manager back here as well. And yeah, Burnley got a very well-earned victory, but it certainly was a shock. No one thought, because Man City usually hammer Burnley, no one thought Burnley were going to go to City, close City and get the victory, but that's exactly what they did. Another one of them results that just, happens during the season, but yeah, certainly was a shock. 2015-16, Chelsea 0, AFC Bournemouth 1, December 5th, 2015. Yeah, this was a shock in terms of the fact it was Bournemouth, who then they were new to the Premier League, and they got one of the biggest ever wins over Chelsea. They beat Chelsea a few times since, but a massive 1-0 win over Chelsea this campaign. But Chelsea were still the Premier League champions. Chelsea were having a bad season. They were 14th place in the Premier League. They were having a terrible start on Jose Mourinho, who was sacked just about a week after this. But yeah, Chelsea got the Chelsea post bump and lost 1-0 thanks to a Glenn Murray goal. And this was Bournemouth's first ever big win in the Premier League. So, yeah, you've got to say it was a massive shock at the time, to be honest with you. And the fact it was against Chelsea, who were Premier League champions, regardless of how poor they were playing. And, yeah, it certainly was a shock. But, Chelsea went on to finish 10th. They had a poor season. Bournemouth went on to stay up. So, in the end, Bournemouth had a very successful season. And this, for me, was the catalyst for Bournemouth's season. They didn't win this match. They could have well got relegated. And they beat Man United a week later as well. Well, that was an injury-depleted Manchester United, admittedly. Still, though, Bournemouth got a win away at Stamford Bridge. It was a shock, even if Chelsea were having a bad season. 2016-17, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 2, April 1st, 2017. Yeah, this wasn't an April Fool's. This was actually a result. Crystal Palace are no strangers to shocking the big teams away from home. And that's exactly what happened in the 16-17 season, as Chelsea were 10 points straight at the top of the table, cruising towards a title under Antonio Conte. And Crystal Palace beat them 2-1 from 1-0 down, thanks to goals from Wilfried Zaha and Christian Benteke. Yep, Palace were successful, and Palace were only 4 points above the relegation zone under manager Sam Allardyce as well. So yeah, big result for Palace, and yeah, Chelsea still went on to win the league convincingly. So not really a lot mattered in the end, but still, Palace though, big result, a shock result as well for them. And one of them you get during the season, as I mentioned a lot in this video so far. I probably should stop mentioning it now. 2017-2018, Huddersfield Town 2, Manchester United 1, October 21st, 2017. Yeah, this really was a shock result. So Huddersfield Town were a Premier League team for 2 years, believe it or not, between 2017 and 19. And the biggest win in that time was undoubtedly the one over Manchester United they got at the John Smith Stadium. This was, Man United were actually tipped to go very far in this team under Jose Mourinho, and you look back and think, why? Because this Man United team really wasn't that great, to be honest with you, and it was an achievement that Jose Mourinho got it to second, in fact. But yeah, goals from Aaron Moy and Laurent Depoitre, and Huddersfield Town got the biggest win. And Huddersfield Town had a pretty good start to the season. They were 12th in the table at this point. But Man United, though, they were flying high. They were only 2 points behind Manchester City, a very good Man City team as well. And Huddersfield Town beat them, and this was a huge shock at the time because Man United, were they were tipped to go on and win the league at this point. But this certainly put an end to that, though, to be honest with you. And yeah, massive win for Huddersfield. And again, this was a real shock. I remember this at the time. 2018-2019, Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 3, December 22nd, 2018. Yeah, so again, Crystal Palace, they do cause the odd shock away from home, but this was the Pep Guardiola team who hadn't lost to a team outside the top 6 since February 2016 at the Etihad. So that was against Leicester, who went on to win the Premier League that season. So Man City really didn't know how to lose at home to the lesser teams, but Crystal Palace put an end to that, and in this game featured a world-class goal from Andros Townsend, still one of my favourite ever goals to watch. And yet, Crystal Palace found goals from Jeff Schlupp, Andros Townsend, and Luka Milivojevic penalty. Yeah, 3-2. And Crystal Palace at this point, bearing in mind, they weren't doing great. Palace, they were around mid-table under Hodgson, a quite comfortable mid-table. But yeah, just before Christmas, they caused Man City a massive shock, and yeah, that's why they got the victory. And yeah, Man City went on to win the league. Palace to finish mid-table, but still. Despite this was a huge shock because Man City never lost to teams below, in mid-table basically, or even in the relegation zone under Pep Guardiola at this point. But yeah, that did happen on this occasion. Still, 2019-20, Watford 3, Liverpool 0, February 29th, 2020. Yeah, one of them results that still gets you. I mean, Liverpool 44 games unbeaten. Travel to Vicarage Road against Watford in 19th place. Surely a Liverpool win is a foregone conclusion. Watford not only won, but they won 3-0. Very similar to the Middlesbrough and Chelsea match I mentioned in 2005-06 earlier in the video. One of them results. Watford, 2 goals from Ismail Assar and 1 from Troy Deeney. Watford 3, Liverpool 0. Liverpool were poor, but Watford more than deserved the win. One of the shock results, biggest shocks in many years in the Premier League, in my opinion, and it just still gets me. Liverpool, just didn't turn up, but Watford, though, were amazing. Watford went on to get relegated, and Liverpool went on to win the league by 18 points. What a shock result. What a shock result this was. But yeah, nothing affected it too badly in the long run, but still, mad result. And yeah, that is all the shock results from 2004-05 to 2019-20. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope I didn't mention too much that it was a massive shock, because I think I did. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we're going to do more videos coming up soon. Yep, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.